So welcome along to the new Opel Meriva. And you might not be able to see me through the glass because it's tinted, but this has those kind of doors. Now back years ago they were called suicide doors because, well, if you open them while the car is moving, obviously the door will act like a parachute and get ripped off and pull you with it. There is a certain air of decent quality to the whole thing. There really is. It sounds well. The engine is a little coarse. You might hear it just from takeoff. It does sound a little bit rough and gruff here and there. See, it is a little bit. But I'll kind of forgive that for the moment because it's probably the most practical one of these I've ever had. I mean, as a kind of a shopping cart goes, this is a very, very good car. It's also very reasonably priced. Even this SE model comes in below 25 grand, even with that roof involved, and the SE, that's standard. Now it looks well, it looks better than the old one. The old one always reminded me somewhat of a fridge, just a big square with four wheels, which is very good in terms of practicality, because the more square an object is, the more objects you're going to fit inside, and the more room you have, headroom, legroom, shoulder room, the more square the car needs to be. Now they've somewhat tapered off this car so it doesn't look as square anymore, but it still holds all that same sort of practicality that came out of the last one. It also rides very well on the road, and I'm on a very bumpy part of the road. It's commonly part of my test track that goes around, or my test route that I take most cars on, because it's simply a rough, twisty road. This one's powered by a 1.7 litre diesel. It's a CDTI one. And it has bags of poke. I'll give it that. It really does go. I mean, it goes. I quite like the acceleration. It's great for overtaking. Absolutely brilliant for overtaking. So like there's plenty of torque and power and noise, and then bang, you change gears and it's off again. It's very good at that. There is even torque steer. But when you actually get up to speed like I am now, it's fairly quiet in here. It's not bad. Now I do find this huge big roof above my head a little bit glary at times, especially in this kind of dull, flat, white weather that comes with this kind of grey sky. It's just, everything's kind of flat and white. But you can conveniently close it with just a touch of a button. You just press one button and some 20 minutes later the thing closes, because the actual sheet is huge. It's the full length of the car it has to travel. But it's quiet. It just goes till it's closed, and now it's closed. Now that doesn't block out the light as a solid roof would, or even a convertible would. It still lets in quite a bit of daylight into the roof, but it's not as glary as it was a minute ago. Now I do like the seating position. I think that's pretty much second to none. It's bang on. My thighs are parallel with the floor when I'm in rest position, and so it feels like a van. I find vans very comfortable, very erect, very straight up, which is quite a nice way to sit majority of the time. I do like that. The one thing I will say is the steering is quite heavily weighted, and when you're parking it's even heavier. It's nice. It's an involving drive when you're on the move, but when you're actually trying to park the car, you sort of have to manhandle that steering wheel. On the plus side, the Meriva has a big back seat that's got that flex seating in it. I don't know what to call it flex. They've all called it something else, but it means the seats are able to slide back and forward and fold flat, and you know, there's a kind of few bits and pieces around a boot that move as well. There's a shelf that shifts in and out of your way, and it's all pretty good. They've also reversed the back doors so they open, I won't say the wrong way, but they open the other way, so they don't open towards the front, they open towards the rear of the car. And that makes, to some degree, I won't say it's really very noticeable, but it does make it an awful lot easier to put kids' seats in the back, for instance. It does, because you just kind of lean in, there's no door getting in your way. But for me, the absolute king of back door arrangements is sliding doors, like you find on the Mazda 5 or on the Ford C-Max. Sliding doors are for parents. There's nothing else as good, nowhere near. Everything else is rubbish in comparison to sliding doors. The only other ones, I mean, the likes of the VW Touran has big back doors, really big. They open up really wide. That's where this one kind of wins, because the doors don't need to be as big because they open the other way. And so getting in and out of parking spaces and stuff is quite easy. You don't have to think too much about the back doors because they don't open much. But then again, the sliding doors win that race as well, because you need no space on the other side to open up the doors, because it just slide backwards. Now the price for the Meriva is actually very good. You'll walk out of the showroom spending less than 25 grand for what I'm driving around in here. But that roof is standard, that glass roof thing. And in my mind, you could have saved money for that glass roof, right? Made that an option, put in a metal roof, and given me, as standard, parking sensors and a sat nav and a USB port. I'd say, you know, what's that option? 800, 1,000 euros, something like that. Get rid of it. Give me something more practical, something I can use. Overall, the Meriva for me is, it's going to be a kind of a Marmite car for you, I think. I think you as the buying public will either like it or not. It's very Marmite. You're not going to really want to put up with it. It's a very, very decent offering. It does everything I need it to do and more. The boot's big enough for most anybody. The back seat, you will actually fit a third adult into that back seat. The handling's decent. For some reason, when the indicator's on, I can only hear it on that side of the car. It's over there. It's weird. It's like it's right there behind the dashboard. The rear of the car is very good. There's plenty of little things you can do in the back seat of the car. You know, you can move the seats round, you can put in your child seats. The doors, yeah, they're good. I don't know if it's really, you know, it shouldn't really jade you from buying other cars. But it's the price that swings it, I suppose, in the right direction. But I do think you're on a Marmite car. You're either going to love this car or you're not going to like it at all. To some degree, I like it. I like it because it's a workhorse of a car. It really does feel like it's going to be able to deal with pretty much anything you throw at it for the next few years. But whether you'll hold on to it for a few years or not is another matter entirely.